beauties. Hello, my beauties here on TikTok. I am Bullhorn Betty. We have been covering true crime for the last 5 years. You guys started out with me with Gabby Petito. Actually, you guys are the reason why my name is my name. You guys gave me my name, Bullhorn Betty. It's nice to see you. And today we are covering two cases. I already did a live on Melody Buzzard and the non-missing child alert that we are covering in the Melody Buzzard case. It's a glorified child custody case that's turned into a federal investigation. And now, finally, mainstream media is starting to catch up with that those facts. It took them a little while, almost 2 weeks behind the Bullhorn Betty channel, but that's okay. We're grateful and thankful that we do have some mainstream media finally telling the truth. Now we're on to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. If you guys know, I've got, this is Sebastian. I don't have his photo on here. This is a thumbnail I had for yesterday's show. And of course his mother, and you can't see his stepfather on the side there with the shovel, okay? And so Sebastian went inside his locked home with his military and MMA trained fighting mommy and never went out or walked out of the house or was seen ever again. So he walks into the house with mommy and never walks out. Now, there is a little caveat on this, is that there were seen lights on the side of their house, and there appeared to be a vehicle that the lights went to that evening, well, that early morning around 3 o'clock in the morning. But law enforcement doesn't want us to know about that. However, we do have that on videotape. We have receipts, and we have disseminated those receipts throughout social media. A variety of true crime content creators have actually discussed those things. Now, with the Sebastian Rogers case, his father, Seth Rogers, he did a live last night. And if you guys here on TikTok aren't on the YT, well, then you guys probably missed it. It was very sad. So what we have here is a situation where a child was 15 years old. He disappeared from his home on February 26, 2024, and has not been seen or heard from since. And then his mother reports him missing, and then she leaves. She basically runs away from home with her with his stepfather, Christopher Proudfoot, and they go back to Horn Lake, Mississippi, where they stay for a few days, if not a week. Before that happened, Christopher Proudfoot took off to that very camper to acquire his trailer, his camper, to bring it back home, citing that he was losing his campsite, which we found out that was a lie. Everything the mom and stepdad have said and done since this child disappeared have been found to be untrue or flat out lies. When Katie left her son, she threw a blanket out the front door with some food, like a dog, like she was preparing to leave and her dog was running loose. It was sick. It was sick. But at the end of the day, nobody has seen this child for almost 2 years. It's been 18 months or 19 months at this point. It might even be 20 months. I haven't even looked at this. But one thing I can tell you is his father broke down in tears on his live stream last night, just face full of tears. And I just keep looking back about how Chris and Katie have done nothing but mock his pain. A father went to work with his child, with his wife, his ex-wife, where the child lives. And by the time he clocked out of work, he found out his child was missing. And the two people that this child was in care of are mocking him. Can you imagine that? Being treated like crap when all you want is your son back. Can you imagine? Most of you guys are parents. I want you to look at your child and tell me what you'd be willing to do to have that child if that child was missing. And can you imagine your significant other laughing and mocking at you for your pain? Can you believe that? Laughing and mocking at your pain. And that is exactly what Chris and Katie have done to Seth. They took his child away from him and then mocked him over pain. I have worried about him so long. Well, as you can imagine, we're coming up on 2 years. I can't imagine that a father that has been missing his child for 2 years is in a good place or in a happy place. He's probably in a lot of pain. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I have Delilah. Delilah is right behind me, laying behind me. Okay, she's my puppy. She's almost 2 years old. I love her to pieces. If something happened to her, now mind you, she's a puppy. Okay, I didn't. My best friend did. My best friend got her for me for something. I'm not going to go into it, but anyways, my best friend got her. So I didn't shop and buy her, but if anything happened to her, I would go crazy. And I didn't give birth to this. It's just a puppy, right? It was just a puppy that somebody in a county or two over from me had. And my best friend thought she was cute and thought I would enjoy her. So she brings her home and gives her to me. But if something happened to my animal, I would be losing my ever-loving stuff. I can't imagine how. I have to think that feels like 1,000 times heavier with a child that you give birth to, okay? I'd have to think. I don't know what I would do without my grandchildren, okay? I really don't. I know what I would do without my no, I'm just joking. My stepdaughter. I love my stepdaughter, but I do. But you guys get it. And so she's never been emotional. As a matter of fact, every time you see her on TV or any type of interview she's given, she's been very cold and callous. And Chris has too. They've had zero emotion for this child. They've had zero emotion for this child missing. The only person that has ever given a damn or has fought for the last 2 years for this child has been his father, Seth Rogers. And he is literally going through hell. All he wants is his son back. Thank you, Phil. Big hearts. Big hearts. Phil from across the pond. Love it. Betty, you have fought too. We've watched. I fought too, but not like his father. And not only that, I mean, the little bit that I've had to fight, even going to jail over lies and stuff like that, which was really hard. It's not near the pain that his father's going through. I know at the end of all this, I will be made whole. If I'm not made whole, then some people are going to be not whole. That's all I had to say. Okay. We will be protesting something. So I'm not too worried. I know, I feel in my heart at the end of this, we will be made whole. Seth will never be made whole. Okay. Even if his son came walking through the door tomorrow, healthy, happy, and fine, he will never be made whole. He missed 2 years. He will never, ever get back. I never got an Amber. That was a big thing too, Willow. That was one thing that Seth brought up on his live last night, is that he didn't even get an Amber Alert for his own kid. That was sad. It was hard to watch. I got to be honest with you. It was hard to watch. Oh, and listen to this. So I found out that hate channels are passing around that Seth must have been drunk. Why? Because the people you represent, the scumbags you represent, Chris and Katie Proudfoot, couldn't even force a tear. And this man is just begging for his child. Oh, he must be drunk. These people are insane. They're sick in the freaking head. That's what it is. Anybody that says that about a father that hasn't seen their own child, those are some, like, what kind of content creator are you? I have never met a content creator like that. You know what? In order for you to be that heartless, you've got to treat your own kids like pure crap. If that's the way you feel that somebody else would be acting, like, oh, we can't get a tear or an emotion out of somebody without them being drunk, doesn't sound right. It sounds stupid. It sounds like people driving a narrative and propaganda than the truth. That's what it sounds like. Thank you. Thank you, love. Hey, Carrie. It's nice to see you. So I hope you guys get over to the YT. If you guys don't know, Seth, for the people that are coming in, Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, did a live last night on his YT channel. And, he's at his wit's end. He wants something. He needs something to happen. You know, he's been sitting here this whole time, waiting for something. Law enforcement's not even working on his son's case. They're lying to him, and law enforcement is friends with the people that most likely murdered his son. He's done. He's done, son. So he was on there and telling people what he would really like happen, because I'm right. We were talking about this, petition that's going around for his son. And while, the change.org is great, but it is symbolic in nature, because any real petition has to be wet ink. They are not taking a change.org petition because there's no verifiable mechanism that those signatures are real people. You can have an email, but you guys know each and every one of you have probably several emails yourself. So you could literally put several signatures. That's not how it works when you're really trying to pass laws. You have to have wet ink signatures on that. So while it's symbolic and it's very important that we show support in that way, unless you have a change.org with literally millions of signatures, it's not going to move the needle. We need real activism. We need people really calling their politicians in Tennessee and really talking about Summer Wells and the Sebastian Rogers case. We need real activism going on. We don't need things where you think you can click on a button and put your name on a petition and say, okay, we've done a lot. It doesn't work that way, folks. You've got to do more, in my opinion. We've got to make calls. If you guys really want change, work for it. If you have a number where you can call and leave a message for, good gracious, Bill Lee or Senator Marsha Blackburn, do it. Or your local politicians. If you're from Sumner County, start demanding answers. And what is going on with the clergy in Sumner County? I want to know where the clergymen and women of Sumner County are, because I don't see them doing anything for Sebastian. A child missing in their community. Usually our clergymen are calling our politicians and praying on them to do the right thing and discernment and gingerly pushing them and giving them suggestions on some stuff to do with these things. Like we have our clergymen all over this county, praying over and assisting our politicians and not keeping their mouths shut and talking about a missing child and praying over a missing child every Sunday that he's missing and reminding people we have community members in the community that aren't here. Where is all that? I'm not seeing any of that in Sumner County. And the people that are helping are having to do it undercover because they're worried about the retaliation from their community. We have a missing child. A missing child. And people that want to help are scared of their politicians? You need to fire them. I'm just ashamed of this whole community in part. I mean, not really. There's a lot of great people in Sumner County that have helped us tremendously. There's just not enough great people in Sumner County. That's the problem. You got all these people that like to fill up those pews in that church, but forget what their job's doing when they're not in those pews at that church. And that's where me and they have a big disconnect, right? Because it's not about just showing up every Sunday. What are you doing between Monday and Saturday? What are you doing between Monday and Saturday? Because I see a lot of people that think they're Christians. I see a lot of people in that community that think they're Christians and think they're doing the right thing and then turn their back because they don't want to get involved in what? What? Okay. Keep going to that church. Keep going to that church. I think the clergymen need to start speaking up and praying over this boy and praying over that community and reminding people we've got special people in our community that nothing's more precious than a child. This child is autistic. He was 15 years old. He was a good boy. He was happy. He deserves to be spoke about. He deserves to be prayed over. This was a child of their community, and it seems like every other community outside of Sumner County is working very, very hard. But when we go inside Sumner County, we've got only a few people busting their butts to try to move the needle for this boy. And that's truly a shame with all those Christian people up in that community. It's kind of funny how that happens. Kind of funny. I call those the fake Christians, right? The ones that want to go and appear to be Christian, but as soon as they're outside, they're talking about somebody, they're gossiping about people, right? They need to go to church. They just ain't paying attention. Those are the people I'm talking about, and there's a lot of those people in Sumner County. We need people from leadership. We need people from clergymen. We need people to stand up and take ownership of their community. And that's what's missing in this community. The lack of ownership. The lack of ownership from anybody. Even the people running the community. Something's got to give. And you know what? Sebastian is missing. He is a high-profile case, and we can't even get the sheriff to tell us anything about the case in over a year. The last interview that piece of shit sheriff has provided the community was April 2nd, 2024. We are about to cross over into 2026, and you can't even get that sheriff, that piece of shit Snuggle Struggles, out from behind his desk to say boo. And if that's okay for you people in Sumner County, you are the problem, not your politicians. I'm going to say it just like that, and I'm going to drop my mic. You are the problem. You. The residents in that county, that community, you're the problem. If that's okay for you, you're the problem. It would never happen in my community. You know why? Because we truly do have Christian people in my community. We have good-hearted clergymen that guide this community right along with our politicians. And I guarantee if my sheriff, Rick Wells, now he has a bigger place to deal with, ever spoke to me or treated a case the way Eric Craddock would, I would be protesting the sheriff's office. You have never seen me protest my sheriff's office before. You have never seen me protest my sheriff's office. I protested my BOCC. I protested my school board. I protested my politicians in front of their homes, okay? With my bullhorn at their driveway. Yes, I've done that, okay? I have never protested my sheriff's office. Why? Because I have a decent sheriff. I don't have a sheriff Snuggle Struggles. But I guarantee if I had a sheriff Snuggle Struggles, he would not be employed, okay? He would not be employed. Why? Because our people here in Florida, right? The immoral state of Florida, apparently has more morality than Sumner County, Tennessee. Just to put it out like that. All right, guys. I'm done. I hope you guys spread a little more information about Sebastian Rogers. We still believe Katie hurt him. I believe Chris is responsible for his disappearance. There's a lot of stuff that support that. But one thing we're not going to support is somebody beating up a father that's been trying for 2 years to find out where his son is from those two pieces of shit that keep mocking him and mocking the people that are searching for a child that they should be searching for. Remember, they're military trained. And let's not forget, Christopher Proudfoot, his Navy team went out to look for bodies when there was a tsunami. So he actually even knows how to search for people and was trained to search for people and never once went out to search for his own missing stepson. I find that very, very unlikely unless they knew exactly what happened. Okay? There's not a think about the arrogance of our military. Okay? I'm from a military family. I know my stepdad's arrogant. I know my uncle's arrogant. I know that that's just how they are. They're pompous because they've got it. They got it like that, right? My stepfather was Marine. My uncle, Navy man, right? Traveled all over this world on his ship, all over the world. And so when you say, I know that if they had a child missing, they would be moving law enforcement out of their way. Okay? Did you guys hear me? Military trained, one being a Navy man. My uncle, he would take law enforcement. Here, you run your investigation. Boop, move out of my way. And he would be running his own investigation. You know why? Because he's trained to do it. And he's not going to trust somebody else to do a job he's trained to do. Okay? See how that works? That's the arrogance of being part of military. And I guarantee you, each and every one of you that's from a military family knows what type of arrogance. And it's a positive type of arrogance. Sometimes, in part, I have to deal with arrogance from law enforcement. Same type of arrogance. They know better than you. That arrogance, that's the one I'm talking about. That's what those military people possess. Okay? And so you have two military people that aren't even going to even search for their kid? Even let that arrogance come out and say, you guys could never search better than me? Because military and law enforcement don't always like each other, right? Because military thinks that they can work circles around, law enforcement, right? Because they were trained a lot better. So, where's that arrogance? Where's that arrogance from Chris or Katie? There was none. As a matter of fact, there was just opposite of that. There was anger and dismay that people were actually looking for a missing child. And how dare you? And they were arguing about property lines instead of a missing child. They're pieces of shit. They did something to their son. We all know they did something to their son. And only a few pieces of garbage on these platforms say otherwise. And those pieces of garbage on these platforms that say otherwise, you guys should no longer follow them. If they are saying nice things about these horrible people that disappeared their own son, you are part of the problem here, and you have no investigative bone in your body. And I'll tell you just like that. So they did want to silence me. Nobody will ever silence me. The only thing that's going to silence me is a casket. Okay? I will tell you that. The only thing silencing Bullhorn Betty's a casket. Okay? Anything short of a casket will be here. Okay? And I show up. That's another thing. I'm religious about showing up. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. We still got Sebastian to find. If you guys have any information, if you're from this community, quit being a POS. Start getting involved. Start holding your politicians. Start making phone calls. Start asking, why in the hell is somebody that you're paying so much money, like the sheriff, not even acknowledging that you have a child missing in your community? Why is he being so disrespectful to Seth, a father of a missing boy, to be so disrespectful to him, not to provide him an update or the public in which he can receive the update from? They're a horrible law enforcement body. I have never seen a law enforcement body be so horrible. I've been all over this country. I would say I've been all over the world, but I haven't. I've been all over this country, the United States of America. I've seen the best of law enforcement and the worst of law enforcement. And by far, I will tell you, Chatham County, Georgia, and Sumner County, Tennessee are by far the most corrupt and the worst communities I've ever been in. And they need change. And then all too often, they vote the same pieces of garbage back in. I will not cover cases in Chatham County anymore. Okay? You want law enforcement? Get rid of your chief of police. He's your first problem. Okay? I almost had him gone. I don't know how he wiggled his little slimy ass back into his position. I almost had him gone. And then the sheriff ended up going. So they want a murderous and a violent community. Don't call the true crime community to help you with your case. If you're going to vote for the shit that caused your case to happen, I mean, at what point are we going to start saying just desserts? We're not that heartless though, right? We're not that heartless. But there's times I wish I was, because I surely want these people to have to deal with the stuff that they created. Your votes matter, folks. You need to vote wisely. As you see in North Carolina, they're literally throwing murderers out on the street. And guess what? They're unaliving again. And everybody scratching their head, well, we gave them a second chance. You can't give violent MFers a second chance. What is wrong with you people? Anyways, getting on a tangent, that's for another day. Pass around Sebastian Rogers. He still has the same stinky, crappy parents and grandparents, except Seth Rogers, his real dad, right? His only father. Chris Proudfoot's a piece of garbage. You guys can't see her. She's leaning on. She's leaning on me. There she is. She popped out of the woodworks. Look at that little face. Look at that little face. Look at that little face. Who dat? Who dat? Where did she come from? Where did she come from? She's sneaky. She's ready to go play ball. All right, guys, I've been on here long enough. It's almost 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is her ball time, so we're going to go out, play ball. And I've got these two lives to dissect, this one and the one about Melody Buzzard. Oh, she's such a cutie pie. I love this little thing. I love this little thing. No update. No, there is an update. Seth, it's not on this platform, though. Seth Rogers did a live yesterday. It was a very emotional live. I hope everybody sees it. He gave some people some action items for those that want to help, bring his son home. We've got, we're in the phase where we're going to be reaching out to politicians. It's time for a task force, This is very heartbreaking for Seth. I mean, we're coming up on 2 years and we haven't even had a hair of Sebastian anywhere. We're coming to a scary time. Okay, so I just can't imagine how Seth, it breaks my heart to think of the pain that Seth is in right now, coming up to all of this. It's got to be hard. It's kind of coming to that point in time where you got to have that come to Jesus conversation with yourself. And I don't think he's liking it. And so we have to be, in my opinion, I know the hate channels are going to do what they're going to do. They're just going to be nasty because they're just crappy people. They're just miserable, crappy people. But he's suffering. He's suffering because 2 people did something to his son and he knows it. And he has been trying to hold out hope that they did not kill his son. Okay? That's what they've been holding. He's been holding out hope that Chris and Katie did not hurt his son. And I think that, after so much time, you got to start. I just can't imagine what those conversations in his head must look like or feel like at this point. So, even if you don't like it, you got to if you're a parent and you're treating this man like crap, I don't know what's wrong with you and I don't know how to fix you, because I can't imagine how you would feel if you were in the same situation. And to sit there and to say something negative about a man you don't even know that clearly was at work when his child disappeared, and to say all these things because of this piece of shit right here, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm not going to say anything else. And, quite frankly, if you're doing it, you're doing it. Shame on you, right? Shame on you. And, there's always a time where you can change your decisions and get on the right side of things and say, I'm not going to be nasty anymore. I'm not going to be a POS anymore. I'm going to realize that this has got to be pretty painful for any parent. Common sense would tell you parents typically love their children, and the ones that are acting like they're just fine with everything probably aren't the best parents. The ones that are breaking down and just have no answers and just doesn't understand why and are losing their shit, those parents care for their kid. They're going crazy trying to figure out what happened to their child. And then you take a bunch of a-holes on social media sitting there mocking a parent that's literally struggling and begging the whole entire world to help them find their freaking kid, while 2 pieces of shit sit on their ass and just do skits. Skits. What the fuck? Seriously? Skits? That's what we expect from our parents that are missing children. And you guys are just fine with that. It's like, oh, you're so funny, Chris. Oh, you're so funny, Chris. He's got a missing kid. It's not funny. It's quite sick and twisted. And so everyone that laughed at it, you need to come to Jesus yourself. I'm just saying. Do what you want. I'm just saying you need to come to Jesus, because I know there was a lot of people thinking it was cute. I find it repulsive. I found it appalling. And people were thumbing it up. You're mocking a father that's missing his son. Funny. Real funny. Cute. Real cute. Real cute. Anyways, hopefully you guys get over there. Support Seth. It's on the YT. If you guys don't know, his name's Seth Rogers. Seth R. Rogers. Or what is it? Seth Rogers dash Sebastian Rogers' father, I think is the name of the channel. Just write Seth Rogers, you'll find it. Or Sebastian's father. You should find his channel. He did the live yesterday, and I'll let you guys make a decision for yourself because people are trying to say he was, I can tell you right now, I spoke to Seth, I knew what he was doing. He locks himself in that house. He's not drinking. And he didn't even sound like he was under the influence of any type of medication or substance. He was, I'll let you guys judge for yourself. You guys have seen drunk people and you've seen high people. So you guys go over there to the YT and please show him some love. Give him some thumbs up. Give him some hugs and stuff like that. And if you're not crying by the time that is over with, then there's something wrong with you. I'm just going to tell you. Because I was sitting there, I'm like... And, I don't have none. I'm sitting there trying to, do the moderation and stuff like that. So he did. Phil says he did good last night. He did a good job last night. Yeah, he did. He did a great job last night. Excuse me. He did. He was a little emotional. I don't think he was I think the emotion kind of took him by surprise, because he's a guy. So you don't expect to just think of something and then start bursting out in tears. But either way, it's emotional. This is real life. This is not a game. This is, I'm a real person, this is not AI, okay? Bullhorn Betty is real. I got, 10 fingers and toes. Well, 8 fingers, 2 thumbs, and, 10 toes. So, I am a human being. Like, I'm not AI, okay? When you're mean to me, I have feelings. Guys get it? Human being, feelings. When you're mean to me, I read it. I have these things called feelings. I'm a human being. A human being. I'm just saying. Geez, some people just don't understand. They don't. Like, you gotta really tell them, like, hey, I'm alive, okay? I breathe. If I cut myself, I bleed. I even have a zit. Look. See, I'm real. I'm real. I got a zit there. I got a zit there. Look. I'm a real human being. I think I even got one over here somewhere too. Oh, no, it's right there. Yeah, I showed you that one. Look. Do you think AI has zits? I'm asking you. Do you? Time for me to go to the insane asylum. All right, Delilah's jumping on me again. Okay, I got to take her out and play ball with her. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for playing. We'll come back, okay? I'm not going to be in a straitjacket. I don't know. Maybe I will be. We'll see. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.